Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. Live from Austin, Texas, broadcasting worldwide, it's Alex Jones.
We've got gold up almost $50, and I'm almost $25. Well, actually, $23 short of my prediction last week. It was going to go up $200, and I'm very happy about that. And I'm very happy about the bankers are getting their feet screwed to the floor.
Well, we're going to talk about gold coming up, and again, I shouldn't even have got mad at the guy. It's like a broken record.
No, listen, you're under a lot of pressure, and he should understand that. Well,
it's like a barking dog. I've got a Chihuahua as well. It knows how to get at the back door and wants to be let out. Now, it wants back in, and it goes, rah, rah, at a perfect frequency that drives you crazy. Now, here's what I've been talking about this the whole show, Bob, and I want to get your take and your view on this first, and then we'll get into all the other news. Obviously, the Wall Street Journal ran a story, didn't get really any attention. Goldman takes a dark view. A private note to hedge fund clients gives a strategist's views, ways to gain from global pain. And just like with Timberwolf and other groups that they controlled, they were telling their clients, buy this, it's great, but then sending emails to each other saying, look at these idiots, this is total bleeping garbage. Now, here's the article from Economic Collapse at Infowars.com. Even Goldman Sachs secretly believes that an economic collapse is coming. Goldman Sachs is doing it again. Goldman is telling the public that everything is going to be just fine. But meanwhile, they're advising their top clients to bet on a huge financial collapse. On August 16th, a 54-page report authored by Goldman strategist Alan Brazil was distributed to institutional clients. The general public was not intended to see the report. Fortunately, some folks at the Wall Street Journal got a copy of it. And they say basic total collapse, bet against it, bet on the collapse, while they have their front man they literally bought and paid for telling us the economy's getting better, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Bob Chapman, they've engineered this, haven't they?
They certainly have. And they don't care about anything other than the fact that they're going to profit from it, and in this case, their clients as well. They should have been on board a long time ago. We've had 11 years now of upside in gold and silver, which is the antithesis of a good economy, good finances, etc. And they could have been doing that. No, they were shorting gold and silver along with the JPN, HSBC, Citi, and so on. And that was because they didn't want gold to do well, because historically it's the canary in the coal mine, so to speak. And when gold goes up and silver go up, there's a problem. And they didn't want anybody to know there was a problem. Now they're saying there is a problem to a select few, and this is what we think you should do to protect yourself. Whether they talked about gold or not, I don't know. But when I can call the market the way I have, which is absolutely incredible. I don't ask me how I do it. All I can say that there's a hand on my shoulder doing something that I don't know how to do, but I do it anyway. And we've got them nailed. This is all part of this whole syndrome of world government, control of finances, control of currencies, burying the people so that they'll accept world government. It's an integral part of all of those things. And what you do, and what I try to do, is bring them all together in a package and explain it simply.
All right, stay there. Let's come back and look at how bad the economy really is, where gold and silver's going. Bob, how big of a deal is it, though, that Goldman is telling their big insiders, bet against the economy, it's going to implode? How bad is it going to get?
First of all, it's a very big deal because they're insiders. They create the inside news. They're in a position where they connect with all of the most important people in the world behind the scenes that you and I never hear about, people who are very, very powerful that if somebody told us their name, we wouldn't know. And it's the admission itself to their people who are special to them sometimes as clients that, look, this is what's going to happen, and this is what we got to do to protect you. I have to assume they're telling the truth. Sometimes they don't. But I would think to these people who are their clients, they would tend to tell them the truth. And so the admission itself that we're on a one-way street and we're headed towards real economic and financial problems is a big thing. It's very, very important. It bears out what you and I and others like us from a different perspective have been saying for a long time. And I think that news like this gives us enormous credibility, and we should capitalize on it. It's very important because they're saying the same thing that we are for the same reasons.
Bob, aren't we in a race to get the word out that it's the globalists that engineered this? Because if we don't educate the public, as Ron Paul has said, they're going to pose as the saviors again. A, I want you to speak to that. But B, there's this weird schizophrenia, and that's what gets to me is people not being logical, where we put out our economic analysis decades before when we saw derivatives scrapped, the controls on it. You, George Humphrey, countless others I was interviewing at the time, broke it down and helped educate me about it. And now we're here. They've known the whole time. We simultaneously get called kooks for being right, while the establishment itself admits this is what's going to happen.
Well, that's typical. It happens frequently, and that's okay. We have skin like the armadillos have. They don't have to have that because they're in a position to make the rules. So we're going to change that for them. 3 times in the last 3 years, the big news, Brzezinski told members of the Council on Foreign Relations, look, we got these people out there. They're telling everybody the truth. We got to stop them. If you don't stop them, we're in serious trouble. We've talked about this on the program before, and your exact words is, we're breathing down their collar. And you're right. And we're going to get them. That's why we work so hard at this.
And Brzezinski's also said, basically, for the first time in history, all of humanity is awake and staring. And you see Congress with a 9%. The vast majority of Americans know the government's working against them. What do you make of the ATF now being caught knowingly shipping guns all over Latin America in containers? They weren't just letting them leave stores. That's just the first guys to blow the whistle. It turns out narcotics, trafficking, everything. And Larry Pratt brought this up. Here's Larry Pratt saying the government's dealing narcotics.
And I'm not surprised. Larry knows what's going on, has for a long time. He's worked tirelessly toward making sure people retain their rights to have their weapons and our guns, I should say, for hunting and things like that. And it doesn't surprise, it shouldn't surprise. The governments today are as corrupt as they've ever been. And it's just not America, it's most all of them.
Stay right there, Bob. Call's coming up. Okay, we're back live with Bob Chapman. We're going to go to your phone calls now and get into some other news. But I was just showing a clip of Laura Ingram's radio show with Dick Cheney on it, and she introduces him as Darth Vader, and Dick Cheney says he's honored to be compared to Darth Vader because of the power of Darth Vader. Well, I'm the first person I know, going back about 8 years ago, to start comparing Dick Cheney to Darth Vader. I believe I did coin that, but not because he's powerful like Darth Vader, but because he's bionic and had all those heart attacks and was basically being kept alive. And now he literally has an artificial heart on the outside of his body and has no pulse. You can't make this stuff up. And few have lived past a year with the type of heart he's got, because most people get so depressed over not having a pulse. Dick Cheney on TV, like, turns off the... I saw a reference to him turning it off and laughing as the alarm goes off on TV to freak somebody out. I mean, I guess he is like Darth Vader. He is pretty tough. I mean, not even care if he doesn't have a beating heart. But you know, conservatives are like, Cheney's tough. Cheney gets stuff done. He's a conservative. And then you actually look at Dick Cheney's real record. It's not conservative to butcher the Bill of Rights and Constitution. What's your view of Dick Cheney now that his new book is out and everything else, Bob Chapman?
Don't go hunting with him.
Oh, man. Hey, I want to bring something else up to you. Have you seen these photos of the guy that's got 6 fingers and 6 toes? But they're not like little bitty vestigial ones. He's actually got the full deal going.
No, I have not seen such. Don't know anything about it.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, and it's got photos of him climbing coconut trees. Pretty amazing. Hey, more and more of us are going to be like that with all the GMO we're eating, and it's been proven they cause mutations. And maybe that's the new thing. Maybe some of us will have, 8 fingers, 8 toes on each.
Well, maybe. But let's do something better than that. Let's try to find a way to stop GMO foods.
Well, that's the thing. They corner the market on environmentalism, claiming it's carbon taxes. Let's tax carbon dioxide and water vapor. But then they ignore all the real issues. What do you make of Obama announcing he's going to back off on some of the carbon regulations? And have you seen Der Spiegel? They now say the sea level's dropping because of global warming, because that kind of blew up in their face that sea levels have dropped, Bob.
Well, as far as the sea levels are concerned, the past couple of years, generally speaking, worldwide, things have been cooler. And so they, again, still don't have a leg to stand on. And it's still gobbledygook. We know why they want carbon taxes is because they just want to rob us a little bit more worldwide, not just in America. And because of their control of politicians, they're able to get away with legislation that causes these things to become reality, such as in Australia. I mean, the public is up in arms over their new carbon tax. Businesses going out of business. Some of the businesses are raising their prices by 30 and 35 and 40% to offset the cost of this monstrosity.
It's really a private VAT paid to certain companies. And by the way, I get emails from people saying they want to see the proof. Guys, type in Australia Green Police. Australia Green Police, one of the top links is a major paper saying home inspections to happen under Green Police, and it's from a year ago. It's now begun. It's the same global model of what they're doing. But, I mean, Bob, what do you make, though, of the fact that Obama's starting to have to back off, that Al Gore's admitted that he's basically a laughingstock most places now? We're really starting to win on this issue, and that shows that these people are not invincible.
You're absolutely right. It came about 2 to 2.5 years ago, just a little over 2 years ago, and that information that came out about the lies and discrepancies regarding global warming, those exposés, they started the whole thing. But yet they keep right on doing it, like they were masters of the universe and everything that they said was true and they're always right. And they're wrong. And it's up to us to tell the world, no, those people are wrong over there, and here's why.
But again, it's not just that they're wrong. They came up with a scam where they could keep their factories open and shut everybody else's down or charge people a mafia tax. Yeah, there's the headline. Australia's carbon police may enter homes. And it means not they may. I mean, they may, like they're allowed to. In fact, blow that up for me, please. I forget which publications. I know it's one of their papers. I'm watching on a screen across the room. That's the Environmental Leader. And it says federal police may be forced to become carbon cops under the Australian government's, blow it up a bit because I can't read it from that distance, under the Australian government's, it doesn't matter. Okay, you can go read the article, folks, if you want to. Under the Australian government's climate laws to cut greenhouse emissions, reports the Herald Sun. You can link to the Herald Sun. Yeah, that was the one I'd found. The guys found that one. Good job finding that so quick. I mean, doesn't so much of this rest on exposing these diabolical people?
That's what it's all about for us. A chapter and verse, we gather the information, and we give it to them because major media is not going to do that because they control it worldwide. And, you know, you're getting them and I'm getting them, and that is emails from all over the world saying thank you for telling us the truth. Or, you know, you saved my bacon because I didn't go out and invest in bonds or stocks, and I invested gold and silver and made a whole pile of money. And on and on and on. I get 20 or 30 of them a day. And I certainly don't get the exposure you get. So you must get 100 to 200 of them a day. And that's what we're here for. We don't care about the accolades. We don't care about getting rich. We care about saving humanity, and this is really what this is all about.